Welcome to solverfy.
So for this question, they are wanting us to find the volume of CO2 per gram of sodium bicarbonate for both reactions 1 and 2. So these are both balanced out equations. So we're going to be using our equation PV is equal to nRT to help us solve this problem. For this, we're looking for our volume of CO2 in milliliters. So volume of CO2 in milliliters per gram of our sodium bicarbonate. They tell us that the pressure for this reaction is 0.975 atmospheres. And they also tell us that the temperature for this reaction is 200 degrees C. So I'm just going to add 273 Kelvin to turn this into Kelvin. So 473 Kelvin. And I'm going to be using the R value that's equal to 0.0821 liters atmosphere per mole Kelvin. And we're also going to be using the molar mass, I'm just going to abbreviate that MM, of the sodium bicarbonate. And that's going to equal 84.007 grams per mole. Alright, so to figure out the volume of CO2 per gram sodium bicarb for reaction 1, we see that for every 2 moles of our sodium bicarbonate, we get 1 mole of our CO2. So to get the moles of CO2 per gram, we're going to take 1 mole of our sodium bicarb, and we're going to divide that by its mass, or molar mass, so 84.007 grams. And then I'm going to times that by the ratio, so 1 mole CO2 for every 2 moles of our bicarbonate. So when we calculate this out, this is going to be 0.005952 moles of CO2 per gram of our sodium bicarbonate. Alright, so to find the volume of our CO2 per gram, we're just going to take the moles that we just found, so 0.005952 moles CO2 per gram, and we're going to times that by our R value, which is 0.0821 liters atmosphere per mole Kelvin, and then times that by our temperature, which is 473 Kelvin. And then we're going to divide that all by our pressure, which is 0.975 atmospheres. So when we calculate this out, our volume is going to be 0.237 liters. They are asking for this in milliliters, so I'm just going to convert this. So our volume is going to be 273 or 37 milliliters CO2 per gram sodium bicarbonate. So this is the answer to the first reaction. Alright, so for the second reaction, we see that 1 mole of our sodium bicarbonate produces 1 mole of our CO2. So 1 mole sodium bicarbonate produces 1 mole of CO2. So we're going to do the exact same process as we did for equation or reaction 1. So we're going to find the moles of CO2, so we're going to, per gram sodium bicarbonate, so moles of sodium bicarb divided by its molar mass, and then times that by the ratio of CO2 and bicarb. Alright, so when we calculate this out, our moles is going to equal to 0.01191 moles of CO2 per gram of our sodium bicarb. Alright, so then we just plug this into our PV is equal to nRT, solving for volume, using our new number for moles. So 0.01191 moles CO2 per gram, times that by our R value, 0.0821 liters, atmosphere per mole Kelvin, times that by our temperature, 473 Kelvin, and then divide that by our pressure, which is 0.975 atmospheres. So when we calculate this out, our volume is going to equal 0.474 liters. Again, they want this in milliliters, so we're just going to convert it to milliliters. So our volume is going to be 474 milliliters CO2 per gram of our sodium bicarbonate. So this is the answer for the second reaction.